What's the most disturbing movie you've ever seen? Write your answer in the comments. Go on, I'll wait. Matter of fact, you can write a whole list, because the truth is, if Kenpark isn't on there somewhere, then you haven't seen anything yet. The story follows the messed up lives of 4 teenagers in a town where the adults are complete garbage. Like most things in America, the tragedy of Kenpark begins with a gunshot. Let's break it down. The film opens in the calmest way possible. A boy is riding a skateboard through the streets of Visalia, California, and soon he gets to a skate park. So he sits down, looks around, and with a smile on his face, proceeds to blow his brains out. His name is Kenpark, and this isn't even the most messed up thing that happens in the movie. The other skaters in the park rush to him and they look at Kenpark's lifeless body without any emotion. Nobody screams in horror or calls 911. To them, it's just another sunny afternoon. But this unaliving is just the beginning. The film shifts its focus to the 4 teenagers, Tate, Sean, Peaches, and Claude, who are all living in their version of hell in California. The more you know about their lives, the more you don't want to know. Trust me. Claude has a father who bullies him all the time. He tries to force Claude to lift some weight so he can build muscle, but Claude refuses, and then his father insults him, calling him a disgrace and implying he's not man enough.
You know, Claude, sometimes I look at you and I feel ashamed.
Peaches has a father who's a religious fanatic. Tate is the psychopath of the group. He hits his 3-legged dog in the face one afternoon just because it's barking nonstop, and he's mean to his grandmother, calling her a fucking bitch just because she comes to his room with fruits. Sean is supposed to be the most stable one, but he has his own problems. For one, he's banging his girlfriend's mom at his girlfriend's house. Talk about multitasking. Claude is at home when his drunk father starts messing with him again. He offers Claude a beer, but the boy refuses it. Once they're outside, he grabs his son's skateboard and breaks it in half like the excuse for a father that he is. Claude loses it and starts cussing out his dad. He even shoves him in anger, but his father doesn't budge. He thinks he's making his son more masculine, but Claude just wants to be left alone. Later, Peaches has a boy over her house for lunch, and her weird religious father eats at the table kneeling down. The boy's name is Curtis, and Peaches tells her dad that he's from Bible study. The man keeps on being weird by asking Curtis to show him his wisdom teeth scars and bringing out an old album with pictures of his dead wife. Tate is playing Scrabble with his grandparents when he accuses his grandfather of cheating and calls his grandma a bullshit artist. Nothing ever seems to go right in that house. Sean is lying in bed with his girlfriend's mom, Rhonda. They just did the nasty, and she immediately starts asking him weirdly specific questions. Did he like it? How many times did she orgasm? She talks to him like he's a little kid she's proud of, which makes everything feel even creepier. Then Sean asks if she ever thinks about him when she's with her husband. She shuts him down because she loves her husband, but that doesn't stop her from sleeping with Sean, does it? He then admits something even darker. Sometimes he imagines smashing her husband's head against the wall so he can have her all to himself.
Sometimes I dream about flying in here and smashing his head against the wall.
Other times, when he's with his actual girlfriend, he pictures Rhonda instead. And how does Rhonda react? Like it's nothing, even though she knows that Hannah, her own daughter, is madly in love with Sean. Then to top it all off, Sean casually asks her whose dick is bigger, mine or Bob's, and she tells him that his dick is bigger. The whole relationship is beyond disturbing. But this isn't the only uncomfortable interaction between an adult and a teenager in Kenpark. Claude's dad wants to kick him out, but his mom keeps pushing back against the idea. Meanwhile, Claude is smoking trees at his friend's house complaining about his dad, but his friend tells him to appreciate that he even has a father. Peach's dad takes her report card to his wife's grave, while Peaches and Curtis are back at home about to do the nasty. She's teasing him, tying him to the bed, and laughing as they fool around. But then all hell breaks loose. Her father returns from the cemetery early and enters her room. When he sees what's going down, he's furious and he beats Curtis mercilessly, punching and biting him while Peaches screams for him to stop. Curtis is completely screwed since he's tied to the bed, unable to fight back. The whole scene is like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You want to look away, but you can't. Tate is alone in his room watching a video of a woman playing tennis. This seems harmless, right? Well, not for Tate. He soon gets a bright idea and grabs a belt from his bathroom, wraps it around his neck, and then starts pleasuring himself, tightening it to the point where he can barely breathe. His face turns red and his body tenses, but the camera does not look away, forcing you to sit through the whole thing. When he finally releases, the fluid is shown in full, as if the director wanted to personally ruin your appetite. In most films, this would be the most messed up scene by far, but Ken Park isn't done with you yet. Sean goes to school and sees his girlfriend Hannah, who wonders why he wasn't in school that day. If only she knew the answer to her question. Back in her house, her dad Bob returns from work and tries to be affectionate with her mom, but she refuses his advances. Bob invites Sean over for dinner the following day, and after some persuasion, he finally agrees. Claude's dad drives around at night with his friend looking for prostitutes, but they don't find any. He gets home drunk, goes to Claude's room, and lies down beside him. But this is where things take a darker turn. He begins to caress his son's leg, slowly going up his thighs. Then he grabs him by the crotch and puts his mouth over it. And yet, the film is not done with making you squirm in your seat. After throwing Curtis out like yesterday's trash, Peach's dad directs his anger at his daughter, screaming Bible verses at her as if performing an exorcism. On top of that, he calls her a harlot and says that her body is unclean.
Does he slither all over your unclean body?
If you think slut-shaming his daughter is bad enough, the man sinks even lower. He forces Peaches into her dead mother's wedding dress, makes her stand beside him like a bride, and recites his wedding vows to Peaches as he kisses and dances with her. His obsession with her is suffocating, and Peaches has nowhere to escape. Tate kills his grandparents in cold blood and records a tape confessing to his crimes. He stabs his grandmother in the chest and gets hard at the action, even as she tells him that she loves him. He lies in bed with their dentures and waits for the police to arrive. Claude's mom tries to stop him as he's moving out.
You know you don't want to go. You want to stay.
But Claude has had enough of his father's bullshit, and the abuse was the last straw. The next time we see Claude, he's in a threesome with Sean and Peaches. This is the most unexpected scene in the movie because who would think that after everything they've been through, these misfits would try to feel better by indulging in pleasure. It just happens, and it's weirdly casual too, like they're trying to escape their messed up lives for a bit. When they're done, they lie there still tangled up, and Sean challenges them to a guessing game. They throw out random names, but they don't get it. But we know who Sean is talking about though. The answer is Ken Park. Now we're back to Ken Park. This time, we see what happened before he pulled the trigger. He's with his pregnant girlfriend, and they're talking about abortion. She tells him she doesn't want to be a baby killer and asks him, "Aren't you glad your mom didn't abort you?"
Aren't you glad your mom didn't abort you?
The film ends with a focus on Ken Park's face as he sits in silence, thinking about the question. Unfortunately, as the audience, we know what his answer is. There are no ghosts or serial killers in this movie, just the raw reality of broken homes and broken people. And that's what makes Ken Park one of the most disturbing films ever made. We hope you found this deep dive interesting. Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unsettling movie recaps from the Replay Media.